Hauntcast.
Haunting Halloween and horror.
Interviews with haunting gurus.
It's time to get your terror on. I'm kicking it with the creator of the Total Terror Haunted House. It's Chip Wells. What's up, Chip?
What's going on, Chris?
Hey, man. Now, you're down in Powhatan? How do I say that? Powhatan, Virginia?
It's Powhatan, Virginia. It's about 40 minutes west of Richmond, Virginia.
All right. You're originally a Virginian?
Oh, yeah. Been born and raised in Virginia, mostly around Richmond.
How far is Powhatan from Richmond?
Yeah, from downtown Richmond, if you wanted to get out to Powhatan, it's kind of a rural area. So we're at the fairgrounds there in Powhatan, and so it'd be about a 45-minute drive for you.
Oh, that's not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
Powhatan. Okay, so now I'm looking at it and I go, I just had to get rid of that H was screwing me up. Now I look at it, it's like from Boston. Powhatan. Powhatan, Virginia. All right, man. So what you got started out back in college? Is that how you got into this foolishness?
Man, I've always loved Halloween as a kid, and just was into making masks and all this stuff, man. In college, we would haunt our floor up in this high-rise building in the residential hall, and we would invite the kids to come trick or treat, and we'd have a haunted house. You go down the hall, and it was so much fun. I was like, this is a blast, and just that kind of got me going.
It's funny. I talk to so many people, and I always ask, hey, how'd you get into this? And it's always the same kind of, in general, I loved Halloween.
Right.
It's like I loved Halloween. I got too old to go trick-or-treating. I needed something else to do. Some people do big parties. I've done a little bit of like I did from, going from starting a little haunt at my house, which I wouldn't have called the haunt at the time because I didn't even know the terminology of calling it a haunt back then. In like the real late 70s, early 80s. From that to doing like Halloween parties, DJing Halloween parties, hosting them, then getting back into doing home haunting again after all the years. But yeah, it's like, everybody, we have this thing that we can't let go of called Halloween, and we need an outlet for that. And this kind of does that job.
I'm not sure if we're born with it or what. It's just something that you can't let go of.
It's the the sickness, man. It's the sickness.
It is. I'm down with it. So,
yeah, absolutely. You can't explain it. And if you don't get it, you just won't know. Like, you can't, right. If I have to try to explain it to you, you're just not gonna understand. So you started in college. Did you do a home haunt at one point?
Yeah, man. So, 2003, we had bought our first house, and we were like, hey, let's throw a Halloween party, and I was like, well, hey, let's decorate the yard, and I got online. I was like, holy cow, man, there's all this great stuff. I didn't know about home haunting and, the community and all this stuff, man. I was like, this is great. So, we decked it all out, the whole tombstone thing, man, and, pop-ups and somebody popping out of, the coffin and everything. People were coming in to go into the party. And I was like, okay, this was a blast. So, we kept doing that for several years, and it just kept getting more elaborate. And I joked, somebody was like, wow, man, we went to the local theme park is not far away. And we went there. This is way better than that. Y'all should open a haunt. And I'm like, yes. So stupidly, we listened to that. And we didn't know what we were getting into. And it's been a ride since, man. So, we've been doing this haunt thing, and it's been 13 years now, all told.
Yeah,
this year. So,
oh wow, yeah, I remember when so you basically kind of you probably discovered the same like the Monster List and Halloween
Yep.
Forum and all of those places back in the day. I kind of found them about that same time in the early 2000s, probably around that, because I remember wanting to. It must have been because I think it was 2002 when I went online because I was brand new to the internet at that point as well. Like I remember getting this house and then I got sold into doing broadband, getting high speed internet. And I remember the sales guy coming over and he's like, "Yeah, I'm high speed. Get high speed internet." I'm like, I don't even use the internet. So why am I? I don't even use low speed internet. So why do I want to pay for high speed internet? But I ended up getting talked into it, and so I had like freaking broadband high speed internet back in 2001 2002, and that was one of the first things I ended up doing is I ended up looking around for Halloween stuff, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, you can build that thing with PVC? Oh my god, like I didn't even know what PVC is. I'm like, you could build that with plumbing pipe? I didn't know you could do that. And then I learned, oh, that's PVC pipe. Okay, I didn't even know that was a thing. Now I know what PVC pipe is.
Yeah,
and,
I can make it insanely dangerous PVC piston. How amazing!
Well, like there'll be a fragment grenade and explode all over the people in front of my house. But yeah, and that was a lot of stuff you would come across as well. All kinds of crazy storm door closer hacks and everything else. But yeah, so it's funny. I kind of came across a lot of that stuff back then too, and I was like just amazed at like once I started learning that you could build stuff and there was people were showing you how to build stuff. I'm like, oh my god, I got to start trying to do some of this stuff. I made some stuff back in the day with like pulleys and hinges and pieces of and scrap plywood in my shed, and I figured out how to cobble together like a guillotine and stuff. But I never thought this is a whole new world for me. But yeah, so it's fun when your eyes are opened. You look back at the good old days when you're like just all of us, you just discovered this stuff, right? And you're like, holy shit.
You're like, oh man, a flying crane ghost, and we made all that stuff, and like the axe worthy ghost, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, the peepers, the poppers, all of the tombstone gizmos, the what is it? The shovel that moves. You're like, oh my god, this is out of control. Like I say, I couldn't get enough of it, and and here I am. So and there you are, right? Except you went to a level way above where I'm not planning on doing that.
Well, one night just wasn't enough. That's how we kind of looked at it. It's like, well, hey man, we're in the tank on this thing all the time. We should just open a haunt and we can do it. Scare people several evenings. And
what was it like? What was it like the first year of opening the haunt?
Oh my gosh, man! Yeah, it was. We opened up in this park. Not far from Richmond, and we were working with the locality, and they wanted us there, so they were really excited about it. And it was like it was like a park that went down to a riverbank. So it was like started out flat and then went downhill the whole thing, and it was like about 15 acres. It was huge. The path going through the whole thing was huge, and we learned so much. We just keep learning. But that year was so strenuous and hard, and just putting stuff out there and getting it done, and like building and the whole bit, man. It was like,
was the whole thing? Was it all outdoors? The whole thing was
all outdoors. Uh-huh. Yeah, it was tough, man. And you really gotta dig in for building this stuff, man, and like be. So it's a challenge. Yeah.
So how did you end up putting together like a crew? I mean, obviously you needed a build team. You needed to get people together to help you put this thing together. How did you go about getting other people involved with you?
Man, people just seem to appear at the right time. I can't explain it. You got friends, you got family. just people come to help, give a little, some are all in and help you all the way. But, and then my kids were real young and, they would help where they could. And, now that they're grown, it's awesome. They grew up doing this stuff. But, back then we had little kids. And so it was, I don't know. It just seemed to every time we needed something, it just seemed like somebody would appear. So, and we've always done it that way. It just kind of happens, man.
Yeah. So basically you ended up kind of stumbling into some good people. You had family to help out, some other people to help out. So you cobbled together a first year haunt. you got enough wall panels together and enough kind of, what was the setup like? And as far as like when you enter, how many rooms did you have? Were they set up in rooms? Was it more of a maze, just a straight maze, or what were you doing?
That first year, man, we had, so it was, you could say it was indoor, outdoor, because we were able to use a couple of the outbuildings that were at the park. And so you'd start at the top of the hill, kind of wind down through the maze. And, we had, we just had wires everywhere and little lights. And we had no idea what we were doing. It was crazy. Stuff kept tripping out. We just did it, man. I don't know. But you would get to a shed, you'd go in the shed. We made a maze in there, with wall panels or whatever, or jute fabric or, whatever we had, make some scenes, you'd come out, wind out. We'd have like a long pathway of skeletons hanging all up in the trees and stuff. And you go down to the big graveyard, which was close to the river, which was real spooky and foggy and just naturally, that was cool. And then it just kept going. And, more scenes, we were able to do some like kind of interactive scenes, like real old school haunts where like this whole scene plays out in front of you. Like, this, it was like kind of like this military, we were near a military base. So, we had this military scene where all these zombies come out and attack these military guys, and they just come barreling out over this hill, and not stuff that you could do, in a kind of a modern haunt, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it was great, man. It was kind of that old school feel where you could do these different things, and we just had a blast. It was so much. It was like a big party the entire time.
So you had a lot of room to work with, basically.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you weren't confined by the space as much as like you had to fill in enough of it to you had to fill in.
That was the challenge.
Yeah. Do you still build a lot of? I noticed I see you working with paper mache from online, unless those are really old videos. Are you still building a lot of your big creatures and I guess I just call them creatures in the haunt, or do you build most of your props? Are you at a point now where you have to buy more than you build?
So we made a commitment to trying to be as original as we could and make our masks and props and everything in house. And you hit the nail on the head. It gets harder now that it's like, okay, we've got to build and promote, and that really takes a lot of time from making stuff. But I work really hard at it to try to make as much as I can. And I do primarily what I do, and that's just out of, years of, you can go the route of prop making and say, okay, I'm going this high end stuff. And I mean, you can spend a lot of money on material, you know this. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so I'd gotten into paper mache, and I was like, man, there's got to be a better way for paper mache. It just takes forever, right? And I found this method. It's used primarily in like carnival float making, right? Mardi Gras float making in Mobile and New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And it's called contact mache or sticky paper. That's what they call it down there.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're sculpting with paper. That's it. And so that's what I use mostly for everything. So I've started making like bigger figures. It's kind of sticking together cardboard over a real basic armature. And I mean, you can make anything. I mean, you can, whatever your imagination takes you. So that I've been working on like a giant photo op. It's like Jason with holding his machete, That's like about 8-9 feet tall, so people can stand with giant Jason behind them. So but it's a lot of work, man. So it's not. I don't have a crew of people, so I get help where I can.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when I first got going, I was doing stuff with paper mache, and then I just started having so many headaches. And people would recommend spar urethane, this and that, to protect it for the weather. And then I finally just said, like, I need to find some other materials. Now I have, but they're a lot more expensive. I have found plenty of replacements for paper mache for doing mache type of things. But it's okay. Like I'm financially good, so I don't mind going to the going to Reynolds Advanced Materials and dropping a bunch of money on Smooth On sometimes. I'm always looking for other products that I can use. Like I actually just started using this product called Paltia, if you've ever seen it, and
I have seen that. Yeah,
and it's pretty cool. I had to try it. I saw it. I'm like, okay, because I'm always looking. I love Freeform Air as a sculpting one-off material. I really love it. It's light, it's hard, it's sandable, it's paintable, it's weatherproof. It has like so many things going for it, except for the price. The price was it's $120 for the 1 gallon. You get the 2 jugs. You know what I mean? It does go kind of a long way, but But I thought, hey, let's give Paltia a try because it's basically like concrete, man. It's like a sculptable concrete. Now, I mean, not that you can't sculpt, but it's just the materials. They got like fibers in there and stuff like that. That it just makes it easier to work with as a sculpting material. So, you can sculpt like you can with Freeform Air. You get a bag of it. I'm right now experimenting to see how far this bag will go and whether this is I can get more bang for the buck out of this than I can with the Smooth On. But it is heavier. It is more like a concrete. So I can see where in some cases this is not ideal and, the Freeform Air would be better. But I'm like, and then I started using foam clay, which just, once again, it's like paper mache. You have to fully coat the thing with like Flex Seal or Plexi Dip or Plasti Dip. You have to do multiple coats to really, really seal it up. Or the weather will, the water will get in and kind of ruin it. But I'm trying all these different materials just to try to experiment with different alternatives to my original paper mache stuff that I was working with. And I really like it. Like I love the foam clay, but you can, it doesn't details. You can't get too detailed with it. It's but it's super lightweight and bit more affordable it's a bit more affordable than Freeform Air for sure. It's not hard. So there's I guess everything has its pluses and minuses. You just have to kind of figure out, but if you're looking to save money, I guess you kind of, if you're really looking to save money, you're probably back at paper mache or, I have people always, I'll build something and put it online and people like, so what'd you use to build it? And I was like, I'll post like Freeform Air or whatever. And they're like, oh, that's expensive. And I'm like, yeah, you do not have to buy it. I'm not telling you asked me what it is. I told you this is what I used, and they'd be like, could you do that with paper mache? And I'm like, give it a shot.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah. Give it a shot. You tell me. Give it a shot and follow up with me after you've done it. And you can tell me whether it worked or not. I don't know. I don't test out. I'm not like a guy. I don't test out every single. I'm trying to test out different materials, but I'm not. This is not my day job. This is just a hobby. I build.
I feel you. It'd be nice to do it full time. I did come up with a pretty good recipe for paper mache clay, and it's just monster mud with a bunch of green fiber jam. You just blend it in there, man.
So what is it? It's green. It's green fiber.
Yeah, that green fiber insulation you buy at Lowe's or.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you have to mix that thorough? I mean, like not. Of course, you have to mix it. But do you have to do you have to make the paper any finer than it is, or is it will work out of the bag? It's okay. You don't have to grind it up any further.
Just get as much in there with into Monster Mud with a paint mixer, and I've got props that I've had for I don't know that have been outside for 6 weeks in the weather. Yeah, I've had them for years and years.
That's another thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, and then there's Monster Mud, which you can put over, as long as you get the armature together, get the rough shape, you can coat it with Monster Mud. I remember back in the day, I was talking to Vic Barito. He was the one that was featured on American Scream, the movie from back in the day. Remember that? And I was talking to him because he's a local guy. And I was talking to him, and I'm like, so I got this corn stalk looking creature thing that I have in mind, and I'm wondering, I don't want to do paper mache on him. I'm trying to figure out what I could, I could make it out of chicken wire to get the frame, but I'm trying to figure out what I could do. And he's like, how about Monster Mud? And I'm like, duh, I didn't even think about why not Monster Mud. And I go, but how would I do that? And he goes, he's like, well, why don't you just take a bunch of like shirts and stuff and rip them up, and you can dump in, and you could just I go, dude, that it was so simple. I just needed someone to say it to me, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, you can, do it. That's another thing. It's like, cut up, get a whole bunch of old T-shirts and stuff, and just shred them up, to make strips like you would with paper, and dip them in Monster Mud, and you could put those on. So it's like cotton, cotton strips instead of paper strips. So it's like, oh yeah, that's great. Once again, sometimes you just got to throw things out there, and the answer comes back, and it's like, oh, seems so simple. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah. That's pretty cool. I did at one point remember buying a bag of that paper insulation, and I can't remember what I used it on. I didn't actually even use the whole bag. I used it for a project. It didn't come out well, and it wasn't because of the product. It was because I didn't have this. I've
got half a bag of that. It's been sitting around for I don't know how long.
Yeah, I didn't.
It seems to last forever.
Yeah, I didn't exactly. It's like it's amazing how much distance you can get, how much you can get out of it, and it was just my skill set wasn't there yet, and I tried it out on a project, and I looked at it like a year later. I'm like, this thing sucks. Smashed it with a mallet. This thing's terrible. Anyway, so that's cool. Anything else that, like any other little tips, or as far as building some of those, because you do have a lot. And when you mentioned the Mardi Gras thing, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it kind of reminded me of, like a huge horror Mardi Gras kind of float thing. I saw a couple of pictures, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Any other kind of cool, like low cost, high yield kind of materials, or anything that you use to build some of your props, creatures, whatever?
All the masks are either kind of built up in that same contact mache sticky paper method. If I'm making like kind of bigger mask or something, or I've taken contact adhesive and like paper, different kind of papers, and putting them in silicone molds. And I was like, I want to make a mask. I want it to be a paper mask. I'm in the tank for paper mache anyway. And I'm like, and I want it to be detailed like a actual mask, like a latex mask. And it took a little figuring out, but and I want it to dry, because I want it to dry fast, right? I don't want to wait. Paper mache is, you got to wait forever stuff to dry. And so I found this, you put contact adhesive and paper in a mold, and you kind of press it in there and dry it out, and boom, you've got a mask that's ready to go. You don't have to wait days. You don't have to do several layers. It's done in minutes. So it's and then I kind of add things after the fact. I pull that out and start it's still got this sticky layer to it. So I start sculpting on top of that to add to the mask. So, the mask got a real distinct look. You'd say, oh, that's a total terror mask, because we're not going to have a lot of fake hair or like stuff like that. It's going to have like sculpted paper hair. You know what I mean? It's going to have a look to it.
Well, you know, that's also kind of a cool thing. It's unique. So if people see it, you know what I mean? If they see it at your haunt and then they don't see it anywhere else, they could say, "Oh, that's a total terror piece." And that's cool because that adds your own, it gives you your own unique style, your own unique kind of flair. They're not going to see it anywhere else. They're only going to see that at Total Terror.
Yeah, that's we take a little pride in that. So it's something we work real hard on, and it's not. It's just because we want to still feel like it's a big home haunt, man. You know, even we're starting to grow. You know, we've had the main haunt for the spot Powhatan Fairgrounds for year number 5, and people are like, man, this is great. Y'all should make this bigger. It'd be awesome if you had another haunt. So we've added in a corn maze. And it's like 2 acres of corn maze, and so we're growing, and but we just want to keep it that feel. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
Let me ask you,
because we got like 2 theme parks right around us. We're like we want to be different, man. You know?
So for the corn maze, do you actually grow your own corn for the maze, or do you like just get the corn stalks and put them up and make a maze out of it?
Let me tell you what, I have learned more about growing corn in the past 2 years than I ever thought I would. So it was, last year was a DIY effort. It was like, I'm planting corn. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but we're going to do it. And again, the right people kind of showed up. A buddy of mine from that ran a haunt out in like Western Virginia, heard what we were doing. He's like, you guys need a corn planter? I'm like, yeah, we kind of do. And he just showed up with that, man. And, we got the fertilizer, we got the seed, we got all the stuff we needed to do. And so, last year it looked okay. We had a drought last year. I blame it on that. This year, I've got 7-foot tall corn already, man. And it's super thick. It looks great. It's like a real corn maze.
Is it fairly easy to grow?
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of the easiest things to grow. Like you just plant it. It doesn't have to go very deep. You don't have to till the soil. It's then really you've got it's all Roundup ready, man. So you can kind of spray for weeds, kill those back. Some people add like fertilizer right when they do that. Some wait a little while. Ours isn't that big, so I just go do it by hand and add fertilizer, and then I'll add another like a high nitrogen fertilizer a few weeks later after the initial fertilization, and then it just takes off, man, and it kills out all the weeds. It's really easy to grow. So anybody, if I can do it, anybody could do it.
Yeah. So basically, you grew your own corn, so you made your own maze. Since you grow it yourself, I'm guessing that's pretty cost effective to go that route.
Yeah.
Saves time. So basically you just have to cut paths out of the corn, right? Just to make the paths like the for the maze. And that's the main thing.
It's a linear walk through it. It's not there's no getting lost in the corn maze. So you walk through, there's scene, next scene. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's like 9 or 10 scenes in the corn maze. So you're walking through. It's kind of this one's a little different from our other haunt. This one's called Feldgeister this year. That means field spirit in German. So there's all these different field spirits that are kind of half human, half beast. There's like the goat man and like the crow woman and all these different characters that you encounter, so, and it's a little more startle scares probably in the corn maze than, up in our other haunt, which is called Exorcism, which is about like paranormal stuff. So
I find those kind of creatures are so much more scary, or even like just captive. You see those, they're just different. It's like they're also they could be unique because not everybody's going to use those type of those creatures. Like especially if you kind of take the basic premise of it and then make your own creature, it's yours.
Yeah.
back in the day when nobody was doing Krampus and people started doing Krampus, and it was like, oh my God, it was like, this is freaking killer. You know, it's different, cool.
Yeah.
It's got that vintage old time, that kind of really old time kind of like even like centuries old kind of mythology and all kind. I mean, that stuff to me is more interesting than slashers and chainsaws and shit. Though I know you got to fill the haunt. you got to have the variety.
You got to be what people want, and we of course have our chainsaw. Yeah. We have several chainsaw guys that are
you got to
all maniacs. Yeah, they like what they do. So.
Yeah, you got to give that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter what you want; it matters what the customer wants. And if you don't give the customer what they want, they're not going to give you a good review. They're not going to come back the next year. So you got to, you got to give the people what they want. It's amazing how many entertainment companies in today's modern age don't get that. And Marvel, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, that's right. Listen up.
Star Wars, I'm also talking to you.
Star Wars.
Give the fans what they want, for Christ's sake, and stop trying to reinvent the wheel, Anyway. Yeah, that's pretty awesome, though. There's something about the corn that is also, it just adds, it's that atmosphere. I don't know. It's just so fall and Halloween to me. It's just, I mean, think about it. You go down to the Home Depot, and what do they have? They have a bale of hay and corn stalks for you to decorate your house with. So there's nothing that kind of gives you more of that vibe. I even like every year I create a little corn section with my little corn stalker guy in it now, and I just like put a piece of rebar, bang it in a couple, like a foot, pull the rebar out, jam the corn stalk in, and it's done. Kind of make just a quick little scene, nothing that big. Now I'm starting to think maybe I could build I could plant a little corn patch right there, right in my front yard.
Farmer Chris is in the backyard.
A little cornfield in my front yard. Anyway, my neighbors hate me enough. I don't know. No, but there's something that's really cool about that, and I always love, if I get a chance to go to a haunt and they get to go through the corn maze, it's always like, absolutely, are you kidding me?
It's intermission time, folks. Make sure to follow and share the audio podcast, and please give us a 5-star review. Also follow Hauntcast on Instagram at hauntcast.podcast for show updates and visual content such as pictures and tutorial videos, which post daily.
And now, on with the show.
What else do you do that might be different, a little unique to Total Terror?
This is it's a family haunt. This is me and my wife Wendy. We've got 4 kids. They're all, our youngest is 15 now, but my sons are in their 20s. My older daughter, she's 19, and everybody jumps in to help, right? Everybody's still into it. And, my oldest son, great artist, younger son's a carpenter, like he went into carpentry. Abby's my daughter, she's a welder. I mean, it's like everybody, they all act, they all take leadership roles in the haunt. To me, that's like a huge, it's different from a lot of haunts, how they do things. Sometimes it works really great. Sometimes, it's kind of, you're working with family. I can't fire anybody, but so it's a really unique dynamic. I love it. It's been like the best. I'm really close with my kids, so that's kind of cool. But, when we build stuff, we've started thinking more in the lines of like interactive theater as opposed to startle scares that we've done, had done in the past. You know what I mean? We're like, what are we doing here, man? Let's raise the game on acting, and then we're taking that into our training with like people. It's like, okay, you're not, this is going a little back old school in that you're not just going to say something and the people walk past you. You're going to give them a little show, man. And so that's where this is something we worked on and implemented last year, and we're taking it a little bit further this year in that it's like theater, man. And we've gotten some great people that are more actors this year. We're starting to pull them in, and I don't. Again, it just seems like the right people show up.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be really, really cool for our customers. And the fact it's like this is different, man. This is not what we're used to. I'm excited about that.
Absolutely, Castle Blood's big into that. That's Ricky Dick's haunt.
Castle Blood. Yeah,
I think back to the couple of JC's haunts that I went through when I was younger. And that's the way they would run the haunt. You would you'd be in a little group, and then you'd go into a room, and then you'd be like isolated in that room, and a show would happen. So something would happen, and then there would be a little startle scare in there too. But they were like, you would go in, and then there would be like the mad scientist on the table, and he's talking to you, and the person's like screaming or whatever, "Help me!" and he's ripping the guts out. It's like, and you're getting more of it. So it's not just a quick you're walking by it. It's like you stop and you get an isolated little show, like a tableau or whatever you want to call it, and then you get that little show, and then it's over, and then you move on to the next show. So you got a whole bunch of these little shows that you're going through, which I like it. It's cool. It doesn't have to be the whole hunt, but it's like it's not many people are doing that, so it does really separate yourself from a lot of the just straight walkthrough haunted attractions.
You hit the nail on the head there in that it doesn't have to be the whole haunt, right? Otherwise, then you're like, you got people waiting in line way too long, and you gotta be conscious of everything.
Give them the best of both worlds, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so we're like, hey man, we have several scenes where this happens. But otherwise, it's a walkthrough, but it's like if I think if we were like, all right, we think throughput, it's like, how are we differentiating ourselves from the theme parks and everything else? And not that there's anything bad with that, but there's definitely that feel of like, boom, 5-10 minutes, you go walk through this haunt. It's like a lot of cool stuff to look at. I was like, okay, well, what can we do that's going to be different? So
it's also like what will people talk about when they leave? Will they talk about it? Oh, hey, remember that one scene or that room? Yep. That kind of goes a long way when people are talking about things and when they leave, and it's not just. Yeah, and that guy with the chainsaw chased me out the door. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. But what else happened in there? What do you remember? What do you remember? Do you remember?
They remember characters.
Yeah.
They talk about that character, and like we had people come back and say, "Yeah, man, I went to Total Terror. There was that clown, and he was hilarious out in what was his name again, Bozo?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what they remembered." Was the guy hassling him in the line or, whatever it was, man.
Speaking of this, I was just thinking about, I went to this place, I'm going up there again this year. It's just outside of Nashua, New Hampshire, Dark Woods, the Dark Woods haunt.
Oh, wow, man. Yeah, great place.
And I went through it and I was like, this is cool because there was a lot more interaction with the actors. The actors, like you would go in, there would be a little startle scare, like you'd go into a scene, there'd be the little startle scare, something would come, and then the actors would come out and then start riffing with you. They would be like, what's your name or whatever, and then start making fun of you or just like hassling you. It just, I love it because I love that. Like I'm all about dad jokes and bad puns and all that. I'm all down with that. Like I'm interact. My son's like just standing there like not saying anything, and I'm like bullshitting back and forth and trying to be funny back with them and like trying to crack jokes back with them. And they probably, I know they love that kind of stuff. They want people to be kind of mixing it up with them, getting into it. But yeah, so I just thought it was fun because I don't get that at a lot of haunted attractions. So the fact that I was getting a lot more interaction with the actors and and it wasn't just like one or two isolated. There were almost the entire haunt was that way. So it was really kind of fun. Now, I don't think they're dealing with the kind of throughput that most people are. I know, but like Fright Kingdom, for instance, which is down the road. But different. And I'm talking about it, right? Yeah. Like it was enough that I was like, I'm having this conversation where it comes to mind immediately, and I was like, yeah, I had a really, really fun time. And I didn't need a ton of eye candy. I didn't need all this other, just whatever they did, it impacted me. I was like, oh, that was awesome. I like it. I'm going back.
Big part of it.
Yeah, I'm going back. Do you have any specific, I don't know, main character, like headline thing? I mean, like, do you have one main character that is like a staple every year?
That's a good question. We generally don't, because we change it up so much that none of we have people that come back and help us out, year after year. We do. So we usually change the theme up just to keep it fresh. And so nobody's really the same person. My buddy, Dr. Insane, he's been helping us out for years and years. He's out in the Midway. So people love to come see him. He's like, big guy, 6'4", 6'5", and has like this crazy doctor, character. So he's one of our staples. He's been with us from the beginning. And so my son pulls out this character. It's Bozo the Clown, and he's just like this. He's great working the crowd. So I know people like to see him. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. What are, like, I don't know, like a scene or a specific haunt that most people talk about? Like you can see them talking about it online, commenting. Is there anything particular that you kind of have each year that you try to bring back each year because it's just such a fan favorite?
Oh, let me think about that. Like a lot of people kind of know when, for a couple of years, knew when the end of the haunt was starting. So we're like an indoor outdoor. The main part was like 6,000 square feet, 6,500, something like that, indoor outdoor, and like the end of it, you would come out and there was like a gate, and you come out, and all of a sudden this guy busts out with a chainsaw, of course, right at the end. But you would come running out. And like almost right in the line where people are waiting to get in, and everybody's sitting there watching you, falling down and acting like a maniac with somebody chasing you. That was pretty funny to watch. Everybody loved it. It was like, it was really entertaining for the folks in line. So they loved that. We had to stop doing it. People kept biting it, so like hitting the ground so much, and just getting hurt. We're like, all right, wait, we got to put it into that one. But it was good while it lasted, Mm-hmm. But and insurance, you got to think about that stuff, and like we don't want people falling down. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was even only because I had this little situation with some guy who tried to pull a slip and fall out in front of my business, and and once again, it all went away, but it still cost me like $900 to get a lawyer to send a few emails to make it go away. You know what I mean? So luckily, it wasn't in my business; it was out front, so they really legally couldn't. But the guy was threatening to come after me, and I had to go get a lawyer to say, "Hey, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Like this didn't happen in his business. This has happened out front. That's the building owner's responsibility. Right. But it still cost me $900 freaking. So I'm now a little bit more conscious about even what I'm willing to do on my property as a home haunter. I can't even imagine the shit you got to think about when you're a pro haunter. I'm even thinking
it is crazy.
I always used to think, it won't. You always think it's not going to happen to you, like especially even as a home haunter. Like, oh come on, everybody loves it. it takes that one person who sees a dollar sign, you know, and wants a payout, and these lawyers will work for free to get cash. You know, they'll take your case because they can smell the dollars. But I'm just a little bit more wary. I'm like, nope, I would never do a walkthrough on my property again. No, I know you can get little supplemental insurance and things like that. That, you know, I know you could do that, but I'm like, I just don't even want to deal with that. I'll do the little thing at the end of my driveway where they just kind of walk. They're at the edge of the driveway, and that's about it. You know.
Very wise.
I did the walkthrough thing for a little bit, and never thought about that. But you know, it's a reality. You got to be careful. You should if you're going to do any type of walkthrough or where they can trip or fall or any of that nonsense on your property. It's good to probably just get a little extra insurance if you need it, just to be safe.
Absolutely.
Or just be careful of what you do, because it's a reality. You guys know it more than anything, because you're dealing with so many people. Like, what do you do for like attendance on an average, on a good year? What have you done for attendance?
I mean, we are not huge. It's like we see about 3,000 people.
Okay.
And it's for us, it's manageable, and it's been great.
Only weekends?
Yeah, just weekends. So
okay.
We're bumping up our ad numbers and promoting the heck out of the haunt. We're like, okay, we've put this much into adding an extra haunt and taking up all this space, and more. So we're like, okay, let's go for it. So this is kind of a big year for us, man. We're really up in the game and trying to bring more people to the haunt. So we'll have a big midway out there, and music and bands and DJs and
dude, it's all the
scary.
The midway is all the rage now, which as I was talking to Eddie from Woods of Terror, it's the way. It's you keep people entertained, you keep them busy while they're waiting. And they're buying stuff. Hopefully they'll get, if you can do booze, sell them some drinks, ciders, Coke. I even heard when I was, when I did that legendary haunt tour, right? And I was listening to some of the owners talk, and they were like attendance was down, but numbers were up because they were using all of these other ways to bring in income. So when they were maximizing the people who showed up and trying to get the most amount of money out of them, so not worrying about trying to get another 10, 20,000 more people. They were just focusing on, offering so much more to them they could spend money on, axe throwing, whatever, just, to help bring in that extra revenue. And that makes sense too, like, why try to worry, you're trying to get more and more and more. How about focusing on what you do get? That makes a lot of sense too, or a combination of the two.
I mean, it's we're doing like a big special, like early ticket sales go on sale, in a few weeks. Our 13th year, we're going to sell tickets for like $13, and I'm kind of nervous about it, but excited at the same time, man. We want the people to come out there and see Total Terror.
Yeah.
But we'll have them there. We're going to feed you. You're going to have fun. We're going to have a lot of characters out front harassing you. So it's going to be a night to hang out and have a great time. So hopefully it'll be great weather this year, like nice and cool. It was good last year.
Now you're on the fairgrounds. Is that what you mentioned?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And you also are opened for the county fair as well. Is that right? Do you do the county fair and then open up for the season? Because the county fair is in May or something. Is that right? Or am I wrong?
We do. We do a different theme every year and we're open like a couple of nights for the county fair. And this past year we did Carnival of Terror. All clowns. We had a ton of actors come out to do it. It was a blast and went crazy. Like a couple of years before, we had done like kind of a Friday the 13th theme. Like you're gonna, it's going to camp. All the actors are decked out in like 80s t-shirts and like the high-rise shorts and shit. And It was that was a blast.
The shorty short shorts.
Yeah, I don't know when that became a fashion, but
Oh man,
anyway.
the big the big socks, the big sweat socks, striped socks up to the knee with the shorty short shorts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, I look back at some of the pictures of shit that I wore back in the day, and I'm like doing the face palm. Oh God, are you kidding me? But everybody else was wearing the same shit. You didn't, you fit right in. It was
hey man,
crazy enough. It was in style at one point.
I had a pristine mullet back in 1985, so I mean it was a beaut.
Oh man,
yeah.
Yeah, right. Business in front, party in the back.
That's right.
Because my hair was too crazy, I couldn't do the like in '80s. The kind of longer hair, not the full blown mullet like when people show pictures of mullets, like you see online. If you look up mullet, you'll see like the worst example of a mullet. But in the '80s, all that hair was kind of longer in the back. You know what I mean? It came down the back of your neck. That was the thing. So it was like a kind of a mini mullet. But yeah, I couldn't do it because my hair was way too curled. My hair's too wavy. So if I don't keep my hair cut really short, it just gets, I have like the fro. It turns into like the freaking fro. Not like Will Ferrell bad, but you know what I mean? And I'm like, I just can't do. So I always have to keep my hair super short so I can just comb it over. It's like the normal, like, straight old school comb over, just not comb over, but the side kind of part. Whatever, but I couldn't get away with doing the little mini mullet because my hair would just curl up and shit in the back, and I was like, actually, thank God I couldn't do that. Now I look back at pictures and go, all right, I wasn't
like
that
I was
bad back
in Journey or something.
Yeah.
Totally. Like, were you in a hair metal band, Dad? No, that's just what people did back then.
That's what everybody did. Have you ever seen the heavy metal parking lot video? It's like they're at a Judas Priest concert. Look it up. It's hilarious. It's called Heavy Metal Parking Lot. They actually show it on. It was somebody just shot it with the video with the old camcorder that you had to put on your shoulder like a boombox, like the old the video of the VHS video cameras. And it's called Heavy Metal Parking Lot. Absolutely freaking hilarious. You can watch it on YouTube, I'm pretty sure, but it's on Tubi as well. And I stumbled across on Tubi. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I remember seeing this on YouTube, but it's absolutely hilarious. They're just walking around and they're talking to all these metalheads in this parking lot, kind of partying it up before the Judas Priest concert. Freaking hilarious. Anyway, once again, bunny trailed right off the top. I'm notoriously bad for that. I apologize. I do way too much talking in these interviews. I should be letting the guest talk, and I end up getting off on these tangents.
It's all good, man. Like I've been listening to you for. I was like, oh, Hauntcast is new Hauntcast. I'd go out in the garage and throw you on, man, and. So Denny and
I miss Denny.
Revenant.
I miss the old team. I missed. Hey, I've reached out to Rev. I'm like, come on, man, come on back. Everybody's asking, come on back, and he's like, oh, my computer's got issues, or this or that, and I'm like, dude, he's just in like a bad headspace, and I'm trying to get him back in, but I think it might have just, he had his day. He understands when it's time. He gets when it's time to walk away. I don't.
I have that problem as well. I'm like, I'm just gonna doggedly keep going. I don't care.
I just keep bumbling, shambling along, bumping off walls.
Right. That's right.
Oh man. This is the new iteration of Hauntcast. Unfortunately, it's not the long. Things have gotten crazier over the years. Copyrighted material can become a big issue, and I even got a warning from my podcasting hosting company. It was like talking about a lot of your reach will be severely diminished if you post anything with copyrighted content on there. And I'm like, all right, the music's gotta go. Even if people give you permission, it doesn't mean shit because the algorithm doesn't care that
Does not care.
that they gave you a verbal permission to use it. It doesn't matter because they pretty much probably don't even own the content. It's usually it's like their record label or whoever, so that it can get a little dicey. Whatever.
I made this thing last year. It was a couple of years ago, and it was like I took horror movie trailers and put them to like Halloween music, like Rob Zombie and shit. And it was really cool, and it was all kind of timed like with the bits from the trailers or from the movie itself. And it was like old movies, like something you might see, like midnight shows or something, Elvira or something. And I was like, this is probably fine. And then I don't think it was fine. I think it was probably I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, so I stopped using it. You know what I mean? I was like, I think I'm gonna get in trouble.
No,
here.
it's amazing.
Really cool,
it's amazing how little it takes to get flagged or have your content be removed or whatever. And you don't want it to affect if you have a YouTube channel, whatever. You don't want it to affect the channel because it will affect your channel too. It's such it's like things that you don't think about, and then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, all right. I used to play it so fast and loose. I never get. Now I'm like, I don't want to deal with the headache. And it's a lot easier doing it this way too, because I just people. The main thing people like are the interviews with haunters. The prop shops are still pretty popular. Like the Shock Tales. Shock Tales. People love listening to JT and his reviews still, which is great.
Yep.
He's always trying to downplay it, going on. Nobody cares. I'm like, actually, I look at the stats, and you do as well as most of the other segments. So it does. Don't start putting yourself down. Your segment does really well. Anyway, but yeah. So what else do we got? Anything else we need to know about Total Terror? What do we need to know? We haven't covered everything.
We just want to see everybody that's in the listening distance, driving distance, come on out to Total Terror. We're going to give you what you want. Scare the crap out of you. You'll have a great evening. That is the big thing we want everybody to know. So
yeah, because they can come out and they can hang. So it's not like they don't just hit run in and go. You got a midway now. So there's music, there's stuff to do. You can hang out. So you don't have to just hit and run. You can make a night of it, almost, right? Right? Cool.
Yep, correct. Yep.
So if you're anywhere down in the Virginia area, make sure you get your ass over to Total Terror.
That's right.
Yeah, man, awesome, and it's good. It's so fun. It's great. I know a lot. So many haunters, pro haunters, started off as home haunters. Seems like you kind of went through the home haunt thing pretty quickly though into the pro arena because you've been doing it for quite a bit now. Like you say, 13 years now? Is that right? For Total Terror?
Yeah. So we think we haunted the yard for maybe I don't know, like 8-9 years, and then we just jumped into being pro haunters. And
well, actually, that's not too bad. I thought you only did it for a couple of years, but yeah, 8 or 9 years is still a pretty decent amount of time. That's longer than most home haunters actually stick with haunting. Period. from what I hear, I had Jim Slanker told me one time. He goes, "Chris, I run the Chicago Haunt Builders Group." He goes, the average lifespan of a home haunter is probably like 6 or 7 years. They come in, they're all full of piss and vinegar. They want to learn everything. They burn themselves out. They're gone in like 6 or 7 years. Not us. We're a special breed.
No, we're the crazy ones that just keep going. I met a couple that live near us and want to start a haunt. They've been doing their yard, and I'm like, man, do you like to work all the time, on this stuff? Because it's nonstop. It's all year. There's no days off.
Yeah. I know. It's like you realize that once you finish the season, you're already have to start planning for next season. You can't even just take a downtime and stop thinking about this shit for a little bit. You can't take it's
not a thing.
A little palate cleanser, a little sorbet in between. You gotta be go.
Yeah. It is wild, man. You gotta love it.
But you love it and you're having fun doing it. and you got the family involved, and that's really cool. I wish my kids got into this. They enjoy it. They'll go to a haunt and they enjoy it, and they do like Halloween and everything. Like they do. They're always, they trick-or-treated right through most of their teens until they were almost through high school. It's amazing how many older trick-or-treaters I get around here. And they come in costume, most of them anyway, so it's funny. By the time when I was at my age, when you were about 12, that was it. Or you got egged.
You were done.
You got egged, wedgied, beat the shit out of, thrown in a barrel if you were out, But no, that's why I started doing the thing at my house, is because I was like, I can't be out trick or treating now, or I'm gonna get eggs. I'm gonna get egged, so I got to do something else to enjoy Halloween, because the egging thing was not appealing to me. I'm like, that's not how I want to spend Halloween.
Yeah, it used to be the kids, you went out on Halloween, and, sometimes if you were younger, you had your parents, but you got a little older, you just went out with your friends, and it was a different world, man.
We were like 7 or 8. We were on our own, our parents were like, all right, be back by like 8 o'clock or something, and it was like, woohoo!
Best night of the year.
Yeah, the freedom. Running around in your Ben Cooper costume with the rubber band snaps off. Yeah, I know. Good times, man. Good times for sure. Good times for sure. All right, so awesome. If people want to follow you online, promote all your socials and on all. I'm sure you're on all the things, as the kids say. Where can people find Total Terror?
Let's see. We are on. If I can tell you all this stuff, we're on TotalTerrorHaunt.com on the web. We're on Facebook, Total Terror Haunt, Instagram. I think that one's Total Terror Haunted Attraction. We got on TikTok recently, and that's Total Terror Haunt, and that's been doing really well. That's kind of I had. Just like, oh, TikTok, okay.
Dude, I just got on it. I just got on it like last week, and all of a sudden, I'm like starting to see all these views, and I'm like, oh, I guess I should start posting more videos there. I didn't even I've been trying to resist it for so long, because I've just had this thing about TikTok. I'm like, I don't want to. That's I go, I'm not doing
same thing.
I'm like, it's like, well, I'm not doing kids dances. I'm not dancing to shit. I'm not, whatever. But I realized, all these people are on it and they're all making it work. And I'm like, okay, I guess I have to, join the rest of the crowd and do TikTok. And I'm starting to see some action off it. I'm like, okay, I guess I have to start using this more, because I really am using it just to promote the podcast is really what I'm there for. It's not, I'm not trying to get people to my home haunt. I'm only trying to get people to go to the podcast. That's it,
The kids have led the way on technology, and now all us adults are catching up with it. And now it's like everybody's on there, and it's like, you're just reaching so many people. I don't know if that translates into ticket sales, whatever.
Yeah, but it
definitely gets buzz.
You can't ignore this stuff. You have to. Right. You have to embrace it. You can't hide from it. You've got to embrace it and utilize it and make it work for you. That's the thing. So
the use of like AI with getting stuff done for the haunt is like, it's so easy. You got, you know what I mean? But I'm kind of like, well, let's be careful with this, man. So I don't want to generate a lot of photos and stuff from that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But like actual, like writing content, it's freaking.
I have not embraced that yet. I have not gotten into it. I see some people doing some cool like haunt stuff, like putting like a photo thing together, like like an image of their haunt with like text, like basically like a promotional images for their haunt. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Did you make that yourself? And like AI. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's amazing. You can get so much done in such little time. It's incredible. Yeah.
All right. So, and the main thing, if people want to go, and they should, if they're anywhere in your vicinity, if people to get tickets, where will people go to get tickets for Total Terror?
Hauntpay.com events, Total Terror Haunt 2025. So that you can go right to that. There's a link on the website at TotalTerrorHaunt.com, and they are up and for sale. And if you, like I say, if you get them way ahead of time, you can get a great deal for a great evening. So
save a few bucks, grab your tickets in advance for Total Terror Haunted House.
Please like, subscribe, comment, give us a 5-star review, share with friends, and buy us a beer if you see us out in the wild. Follow us on Instagram at hauntcast.podcast for show updates, as well as more pictures and video content. Also, like and follow our Hauntcast Facebook page. Listen to the audio podcast available on all podcast platforms, with over 550 segments now available. Until next time, stay scary.
But I can't leave them, I can't. Yes, go. You live.